Hey guys, this is Sean from DiamondOps GG, and what we're going to do here is like a little quick Market Monday update, kind of looking at our prediction engine for what we think are going to be possible upgrades by SDS. They do their next roster update. Basically, we get an overview of the functionality of the Diamond Radar that's part of DiamondOps.gg. And just so you know, DiamondOps GG is an MLB Show Diamond Dynasty kind of inventory, stub, collections management, inventory management, roster management type site. And we just kicked off early access for the month of June. So right now it's free to sign up. If you sign up for the whole month of June, you got all the pro features. A lot of new things are coming out. I suggest you check it out. Again, it's DiamondOps.gg. So just a quick overview. Basically what the Diamond Radar is it's our prediction engine for live series cards, kind of looking at our predictions for the next SDS roster upgrades, so you can kind of get in early, determine what investments to get into, so you know you can flip some cards and finish those live series collections. But I'll go through all that. Basically what our prediction engine does, it's looking at historic data, so what SDS has done in the past based on how it looks at, going from golds to diamonds, silvers to golds and all those things, and kind of look at what attributes we think they typically look at based on how a player has played over the past 30 days to 60 days. Kind of takes that as a whole and tries to predict by looking at past performance of what SDS has done, and kind of get us a good overview of where we think the market's going in terms of who's going to get a roster upgrade next or not. It's a prediction engine, so where, as the season progresses, it's going to get better. Kind of looking at, from year to year, things could fluctuate the way they look at attributes and how they upgrade attributes. And, there's a lot more details into that. I'm not going to go into the whole system, but, like, you're looking at how players are performing on the field. So we're pulling live stats nightly, and we have an internal process that looks at that and then compares it to the card's current attributes, where it has room for growth, and kind of trying to predict where we think SDS could go, or if there's even room for this card to get an upgrade. And obviously, as you progress up, going from gold to diamond, it's a lot tighter in what attributes you can upgrade, so it's a lot harder to predict. But our hopes is, as the season progresses, we kind of get a feel for how SDS is doing upgrades and handing them out, and trying to predict, what are good cards that potentially could be upgraded on the next update that could jump tiers, or things that are underinvested or overinvested, so you're not really investing in something that already be oversold. Like, you have to kind of take all that into account. So we kind of put all that data here so you can look at it quickly and say, is this a good investment? Like, is there room for them to grow? Is there room for them to go to the next level based on their current performance? The system's smart, and it kind of gets smarter as the season progresses. So basically what we did is we started with looking at the historical upgrades from SDS in 2025, and that's what we use to base our engine on for the start of the season. And now as it goes on, every upgrade, the system's going to get smarter. It's going to take into account statistically the players every night, so you can come here and see cards that are oversold, undersold, and cards you should be looking at and investing. So basically what's happening is every night we're pulling real MLB stats from the MLB Stats API, compare those stats with the card's current attributes and how the players are performing, and we come up with a signal. This looks across multiple time windows. Since SDS roster updates, we look at the past 30 days, we look at full season to date, windows since last update, and we kind of weigh those all differently in our prediction engine. Obviously, like I said before, it gets smarter over time with weights that were built from last year's SDS history. After, 2 or 3 more updates from SDS, it's going to get smarter. It's going to learn, it's going to re-weight itself and be able to recalibrate during the season on a nightly run based on how SDS has typically gone with their updates in the past. So basically, after a SDS major roster update happens, it looks at its performance and tries to determine how it can get smarter. Like, what did it miss? What didn't it miss? What was it right on? And kind of fine tune that weighting. So after every single roster update, it's going to tune itself again. And again, it's processing nightly based on stats. It's going to constantly improve over time. So what I'm going to look at here is basically the Diamond Radar app here. And if we look at this, let's go over some stuff. Obviously we have the players, their positions, their current overall, and then so let's go over some of these things real quick in the table, and that's a signal. So this signal is basically on a 0 to 1 our confidence that the card will get an upgrade on the next update. So that's like the big number. You kind of look at it. Is it likely to get an upgrade, or how are we viewing that signal, that upgrade signal? And then we have our tier jump. So this is another quick way to kind of like filter out cards instead of looking at cards that maybe, these lower end cards. Yeah, they're probably going to, have the ability to bump up significantly, but is that going to make you any money? So it's taking that into account. So you can look at tier jumps. Maybe you don't have a ton of money to invest at first, so you want to look at the cheaper cards. Then you can kind of filter it down from there. So those are our predicted tier jumps for these cards. Then we have the predictive overall, which is our prediction of what the new overall for the card would be. So like our prediction here would be, this is going to go from a 62 to a 65. So it's a 3-point overall upgrade. Then we have a downgrade signal, which just really, we're just kind of showing you, it plays into, in the back end, how we're coming up with the signal. We have an upgrade signal and a downgrade signal, and then we kind of come up with, between those two, we predict the signal or our net outlook for the card. And that brings into the net outlook, which is basically, it combines the signal and the downgrade into one read. So you're getting upgrade, downgrade mixed in. And it's basically your quick gut check column. Like, you're going to look at this and be like, okay, so this card is, has a high probability, or our net outlook is that it's more than likely has room for an upgrade by SDS. This is a post upgrade. So this is like the buy now price would be the card's current price on the market, which is updated every 60 seconds on the pro plan. And there's a slight delay on the free accounts, but again, that's going to show you the buy now currently. And then what you're going to see is the post upgrade price. So that's our predicted price that the card could potentially go up to if it is upgraded. And then we're going to show you the estimated profitability of it, like how much you're looking on, if this card does get upgraded at its current price, how much you're looking to make on that card. And then we have the probability, which is the supply metrics, which is basically a low probability in a rising signal equals the price moves. The higher probability means the slower or softer movement in the price, and the lower probability means that there's more fluctuation in that price. Then we have the value gap, which is the current market price versus what the radar thinks the card is going to actually be worth if the upgrade goes through. So those are just quick badges. You can say, hey, this is a strong buy. You're looking at, 21 stub profit on that card. You're going to look at the signal. You're going to look at the net outlook. The probability tells you just how fast the market will react to the player's current performance. The value gap tells you if it's already priced in or not. So you're looking at, like, has the market already priced in that this card has a high probability of being upgraded? Obviously, you want to stay away from those type of cards. So instead of me rambling, let's show it, and you can come up here and we can do all tier jumps. So we can filter out all the cards that we think are going to be upgraded, but strictly based on their tier jumps. You can break down by the tier jump you want to see. Here, what we've done is we kind of filtered out the cards by the predicted tier jumps, since these give us a little more quick value. And then we can kind of look through here and look, here's a common of a bronze. We're looking at a potential of the probability is this card is going to get an upgrade, and you're looking at potentially after tax making 18 stubs per card. And it's just showing you, is this a strong buy? Is this card oversold or not? And so you can see, you're going to get different fluctualities. This is a common of bronze. You're looking at 21 stubs, potentially. This is a bronze to a silver, right? You're looking at, this is another strong buy. You're looking at 32 stubs per card. Now, I know these are kind of smaller numbers, but when you don't have a lot of stubs and you're going to make money, you invest in some of these cards, that's all eventually going to add up. And then you can see some of these other bigger ones, like the silver and gold. Here, this card, you're looking at potential of making 351 stubs after tax if this card gets an upgrade. So you can, this is really a way to kind of quick glance, and I'm going to see, so like, look at this. So you're getting some of these other cards here, like Jordan Walker. He has a 69% likelihood of being upgraded, going from a bronze to a silver. But as you can see, he's overpriced, meaning that if he does upgrade, you're not really going to make any money. He's kind of oversold at this point. So that's not a good card to look at. And then you can look at cards like Nick. Again, 66% likelihood that he's going to jump from gold to diamond. We're predicting him going from an 85 to an 88. And then you can see that, if that does happen, per card, you're looking at 3,300 stub potential. And that's going to fluctuate. That's going to change nightly. And you're going to be able to see in real time, like, is this a card that I want to invest in or not? And here's another big one. This is another gold to diamond. We're predicting to an 88, an 85 to an 88, and we're looking at a potential profit per card of 4,000 stubs. And again, this is changing nightly. The process is running nightly. It's learning. It's getting smarter. The whole goal of this is to have a predictive tool that makes itself smarter and is self-learning as it goes on, and we kind of track that and find out, like, was there a blind spot in its last prediction model that we need to fine tune, and it automatically fine tunes itself as the season goes on. So this is, again, just a quick glance at the Diamond Radar that we currently have right now. Just looking at some of the bigger tier jumps cards that we're predicting could potentially happen. So really just go to DiamondOps.gg, check us out, check out the Diamond Radar. Again, the accounts are free. And when you sign up for the free account for the whole month of June, you're going to get all the pro features. So you're going to be able to check out Diamond Radar and see this fluctuate by day, see what kind of cards are out there to invest in, so you can start making some investments into the next potential SDS roster update, which I'm not sure when the attribute update is happening. I'm not sure if they put out a date yet, but it's usually a couple, 4 or 5 weeks sometimes in between. I'm assuming it must be pretty soon. So get on this for June, check it out, let us know what you think. And again, we have a whole bunch of other features here that I'm hopefully going to make some other videos over the coming weeks, kind of going through some of these things. But check out the site, check out Diamond Radar, and hopefully use it to potentially finish up live series collections as the season progresses. That's it for now. See you next time. Thanks.